we're going to have fun with grammar now, guys, because we're going to look at videos of Joe Biden. Here we go. So get ready for U.S. military expansion in the Pacific Ocean. This is what the White House, or in the Pacific region, rather. This is what the White House is busy with this week. Here is Joe Biden announcing more investment in the Pacific.
So today, I'm pleased to announce we're working with Congress to invest $40 billion in our Pacific Islands Infrastructure Initiative. We call it the PI anyway. It doesn't matter what we call it, but that's what it is. I was going to get back to acronyms, and I'm going to stand not doing that.
Okay, I'm going to have to say this again.
Correct it? It's an initialism?
It's not an acronym if you can't pronounce it as a word. That's an initialism.
Well, he can't pronounce anything.
Good point. And he probably would not understand this distinction, but PIN. PIN is an acronym. NASA, right?
All right.
FAQ, not an acronym. It's an initialism. Okay. So this, what are we calling it? PPII, Pacific Islands Infrastructure Initiative. There's only one P. I'm looking at it right now. PIII.
Okay.
Anyway, initialism. Okay. Also, it seems to me he got the number wrong because he's saying we're announcing 40 billion, but look at the White House press release. This is 40 million. At this point, does it even matter? So what they're saying here is that they have more 28 million and they're requesting another 12. That's 40 million for this PIII. That's not 40 billion. Am I missing some zeros? Do you see it there? Check my math. But I guess at this point, given that we're headed to a government shutdown, does it matter? Give a million, give a billion. It's printed on fake money. I guess it doesn't. Now, this military expansion is being done under the guise of climate change. Take a look here at what they're saying. Like, we need to invest more in the Pacific region because of the climate crisis. Note here this last thing that they say on the bottom. Actually, there's quite a few that they say about what they're going to do about the climate. But this one that I've noted, supporting maritime limits and boundaries. Well, we had one of those conflict. It seemed, conveniently timed because just today it was announced that the Philippine Coast Guard said that they sent a diver to cut a rope to remove a barrier that was reportedly installed by China to prevent entry into a disputed area. Now, here's the diver that they showed us. Here is said rope. These were, again, released images from the Philippine Coast Guard. It didn't look, I don't know. It just felt, like I said, a little bit conveniently timed. Here is some video of that diver going down. Now, we don't see the barge. We don't really see, all we see them is pulling up anchors and cutting rope. So we don't see any evidence of disputed title. This just feels, let's go to the next one where the guy just sort of goes down and cuts her up. He doesn't even have any scuba gear or anything like that. So the Philippines says they're not going to move that they are going to move in this area now with military presence. And China is saying, no, you better not. We had the rights to that region. And so this is what the United States says it really needs to get involved in. This is one of the things that they're announcing. Now, this territory dispute that we have on our hands, it feels right on cue. But in the same breath, the U.S. has declared sovereignty for two new nations, the Cook Islands and Niue. This is where those places are located. They're not too far from New Zealand. Number 1 is New Zealand. Number 2 is Niue. And number 3 is the Cook Islands. The Cook Islands and Niue, until yesterday, were known as freely associated states to New Zealand. But China has already considered them to be sovereign. So I guess New Zealand is fine with sort of letting them come and go as they please. There was no official word on this in New Zealand, I guess, because China already felt this way. Bloomberg says, though, that this is a clear hit at China. And how can it not be, this military expansion by the United States? Because on the heels of this announcement comes the announcement of 2 new embassies. So I guess if you want allies in the Pacific region, you just create new countries and say, well, those people are independent now. We've declared it. So can I put some embassies there?
Well, I mean, to me, this is the biggest part of the story, right? Is that where did this come from? It's also mysterious. Like, why out of the blue are we now declaring that these countries are, oh, yeah, that's a country. You're a country. It's like Oprah giving, you're a country. You're a country. Oh, and by the way, side note, since we declared that you're a country, we're going to have to put a military base.
Right.
Up in your backyard.
I mean, right now, yes, with embassies come military bases. Go ahead.
What does the new flag look like so I can put it on my Twitter profile?
Oh.
Just slap it. Is that our next? Is that our next?
That's our next cause to celeb. Yeah.
I'll look into it. No,
only if Putin invades it, then you can do it. We don't care about other countries, though, of Syria or anything like that.
Right. During World War II, there already was a U.S. military base on the Cook Islands, and undoubtedly there will be more now because we're sort of saying because of climate change, we need more U.S. presence in those areas, even though the military is responsible for most use of resources on the planet. But that inevitably will be followed by military presence for climate change. Got it? Does that make sense to you? One island in the Pacific, however, is not down for more U.S. military bases, Okinawa. Okinawa has asked the United Nations to stop the U.S. from relocating a military base on the island. This governor of Okinawa has asked the United Nations for help, but his own government of Japan does not really support him. They don't have his back. So what this is saying here is that he has drummed up international support to prevent this plan, but it's going to go forth anyway. And that most of the community is saying, please don't do this. We've had enough military presence here. We don't need this to be expanded. But they're going right ahead with it. Incidentally, if you'd seen Karate Kid 2, you know what it's like when those military bases in Okinawa invade and relocate entire villages. I know that's fiction, but it's a good insight to that. And also, we watched that with our kids this weekend. So if you are a Pacific...
It's also where Grimm was...
Go ahead.
Sorry, that's where Grimm was born. He was born in Okinawa.
He was born in Okinawa? I didn't know that.
Wow. Interesting. For those of you who don't know who Grimm is, Grimm does all of our graphics here on the show and is listening right now. Yes. That's amazing. I didn't know he was born in Okinawa.
I didn't know that either. Oh, I guess he is anytime Grimm is also a military veteran and he has great insights, but he only puts it on our group chat. So he doesn't say it to you live. I wish he would. So about Okinawa.
Yeah.
I was going to go on to a tangent about Karate Kid. I will not do that.
Okay.
I will avoid doing that. I guess the moral of the story is that if you're a Pacific Islander, you are going to get more American military presence, whether you like it or not, because climate change.
Thank you so much for watching this segment here at Redacted. We are live every day at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, trying to share the stories that the mainstream media will not cover. You should also come over and join our community of Redacted Rebels over at redacted.inc. That's our private locals community where we can share exclusive content that we simply cannot share here on YouTube. Come over and join the rebellion together right now by going to redacted.inc. We'll see you next time.